Hi everyone, I am a noob on the internet when it comes to software engineering, but today I'm going to try and build a website using GPT. So if you haven't already got any keywords and don't really know what you want to build, then you need to go find that first, but find a problem that you want to solve, find an information product you want to sell, find a if you're moving to a new city, for example, that we use that as a good example, and you found that that particular place has got no information about where to live or what to do, then that might be something you'd want to target in terms of as a business. It may also not be, but for the sake of argument, let's keep it fairly simple. So there are two prongs to this attack. To start with is that if you want to, you can get GPT to actually write a uh, entire content map for you. So write a content map for a blog focusing on where to live and what to do, etc. in Oxford. Focus on young graduates and working families. So now this is GPT-4, so this is one you have to pay for, but you get pretty similar things without that as well. So as you can see, it's writing a guide in various different things. So it's writing basically an overview of the sort of content that you could look to use in your blog. This is probably getting the horse ahead of the cart, but it just gives you an idea of the sort of things you can build around. So very quickly you've got a plan of action, because you could easily go through any of these, and I've never been to Oxford, don't know anything about it, but with a bit of Googling as well to cross-reference and make sure this is actually correct, you could easily take some of the information and get GPT to write a blog post on any of it and link it all together. So I'll just wait for it to, in fact, I'll just put stop generating because I don't want this video to be gone forever. But right, so we say, best neighbors, write a long form blog post. After that, you'd write a long form blog post. Now this is going to give you all sorts of stuff. It's going to start with an introduction about Oxford, what it's about, why you should move here, why it's good for young graduates and working families, which is our kind of key topic that we're focusing on. They're the people we want to look at. So they've asked Jericho, which I'm assuming is an area of Oxford. I'm sure there are people here who know a lot more about Oxford than I do. And they give you a lot of information about the kinds of houses, the sorts of area, the sort of people that live there, and the sort of things you can do, pubs, etc. And they've mentioned a cinema here or picture house. So I'm not going to let it do the whole thing, but you can imagine this will be a long form blog post, probably 500 to 1,000 words, depending on the detail it decides to go into. And with a bit of tweaking, yes, you could probably just copy and paste this, but ultimately you're going to want to put some human input into this. And that's probably where the advantage comes. This is a tool that can help you, but shouldn't be used solely as the only thing that kind of gets posted. So once you've got an idea of what sort of content you want to create, you want to look at how are you going to build a website. So I am someone who doesn't know how to build a website. Really, I've tried to learn to code. It seems like now it's not really worth doing. But anyway, the way I would approach this is literally say, write an HTML document for my, HTML sort of index page, which is essentially a home page. If you don't know, you could write a home page, it would still do it, for a blog about Oxford and where to live and what to do for young graduates. Make it look pretty. Use the dark blue. Sorry, my Alexa went off. Use the dark blue Oxford color as a theme for CSS. So now it will create this. Okay, so that's finished writing it for us. I paused so you didn't have to watch it because it's pretty boring. Now you'll see you've got all this HTML and CSS. You can literally copy, the way this is structured is a bit weird, but you should be able to just copy all of this. Copy all of this, pop it in a notepad, save it as not my WordPress password, test oxford.html. If you do that, then when you go back to that folder, you'll open it up and this is what you'll get. And I'll just move this frame a bit. Yes, it's not absolutely perfect, but it's given us your guide to living, where to live, what to do. These links, don't think they'll work because we're on this is still local, but you've built your main page. From there, you can then build the next thing. And in order to do that, you can go back to ChatGPT. And what's made different things. Firstly, you can tweak it. So you could say, let's just give an easy example. Change the color theme to a Cambridge light blue. Now, there's probably a much quicker way to do this. If you know how to code, you could probably go in and literally just change the color. But just for sake of this video, let me just pause it so that you're not having to watch this even more. So scratch that. Let's just ignore this and stop generating. You absolutely can do that. I just don't have the patience to sit here and watch that. Do that. You can probably just ask it to take the snippet and tell you which snippet to change, or you can get to redo the whole thing if you've got a bit of time on your hands, but still a lot quicker than me learning how to code. Now, once you've got this in place and you've got your, look, this is the website we've built, looking all lovely, then you can actually start from there. So the next thing you could do is, if we go back to GPT, we can go through our list of things and start building out these. So, you know, what's the top 5 companies in education, top 5 companies in healthcare, top 5 companies in science and technology. You can get GPT to write all of those things for you, and also ask it how to then bring that to life in terms of bringing that into the website. But you can get the HTML, save it, and then you can literally upload those documents to your domain, which is another skill, but it's not that difficult to learn how to do. And GPT can also teach you how to do that. So the point I'm trying to make in this video is that if you are scared of starting, I would just try and do something simple like this and see what you can produce, because in my life I've never been able to produce complex, well, not even complex, very simple HTML, CSS like this, because I just haven't had the patience. I think I probably could manage a web page like this, but I think it would take me hours to do so for now. So this is all I wanted to say. This is what I'm actually doing for one of my projects, and I will update on this channel as to how that project goes in terms of numbers and figures, but I'm basically going to do this kind of model using this as a content driver and then editing it and then seeing how much I can produce out there. So follow along if you are interested. I hope to see you in the next video.